here's how you know you need to hone in on your avatar. In other words, to get really, really clear about the one person we want to talk to. The way you know you need an avatar, or one of the warning signs that maybe I need to work on this stuff, is that when you do market, people don't respond. Or when they do, instead of A players, you attract Bs, Cs, and Ds. Like if you had to grade your clients and your leads right now, A, B, C, D, what would make an A grade prospect? Just call them out. What would make an A grade prospect? They're hungry. Great. What else? They've got some cash. Great. What else? They've got a pulse and a checkbook, right? That's what I've heard so far. It's awesome. What else? They do the work. They get your why. They tap into your reason for doing it and your approach. Great. What else? They refer. They need you. They're teachable. They're ready to make a decision right now. Those categories make up an A. Would you agree? So if that's an A, anyone who's got, if that's, let's say you had 10 categories and that makes an A. Anyone who's got 8 would be a B. Yeah, let's say 8, 9, or 10 might be an A. Okay, we'll stretch it. If they're like 6 or 7, let's call that a B. If they've got 5 or 4, let's call that a C. You know what I mean? And so I think it was Brad Sugars who used to link people into A's, B's, C's, and D's. Is that right? And he said that A's were awesome, B's were sort of basic, C's you can't deal with, and D's were dogs you should put out of your misery. I say dogs. I reckon it's way better. They should totally be put out of your misery. Make sense? So if you're marketing and you're getting B's, C's, and D's, it tells me that there's something about our marketing which those people are resonating with. It makes you exhausted. Like you're doing all this work, chasing, generating leads, moving and shaking, and we get the wrong kind of client. I remember the second coach I ever worked with, his name was Mike. And I generated some leads for Mike in our first week of working together. And I remember getting the phone call from his first ever, like he had his first appointment from one of my leads. And he called me on the way back. Let's turn that off if we can. Called me on his way back from the appointment and said, "Hey, Taki, I signed the client." Oh, actually, I got a text, signed the client. I'm like, this is awesome, super cool. First lead, first appointment, first client, this is awesome. And so he comes back into the room and I was expecting, he comes to the office and I was expecting like a high five or a hug, and he looked completely forlorn. I think Jamie and I talked about this in a podcast. He looked a little bit like he'd been kicked in the nuts by a bison. He was like, miserable and a little bit pained. I'm like, man, congratulations, we signed, you got your first client, that's awesome. And he just looked down and breathed in and sighed and said, you know what? I think I just signed myself up for 12 months of pain and suffering. Wrong client. That's not good, right? Working with the wrong client can be really tiring. I reckon one of the categories of an A is they give you energy rather than take it away. Most of the A's want you, don't need you. They could do it on their own, but they're going to use you because they'll get there faster. Yeah? The easiest thing in the world is to sell to people who want you but don't need you. Your business gets easy when you work with people like that. So you do all this work, you kind of attract the wrong kind of clients or not enough leads in the first place, and you're left with this kind of, is this ever going to work for me? Kind of question. You following?